Hey there viewers, and welcome back to Grumpy Monkey Garage, where today we've done some necromancy. We have brought something back from the dead. Okay, so we brought to you the part 2 and the final episode of the S10 project, which is now a S10 Sonoma clone. And we've really had a good experience with it. I've owned it for 6 months, and as you can see in some of the pictures here, it was really crashed. I crashed it, and we've brought it completely back to life. And in that lifetime, from finishing it to now, has been about 6 months of use. And I would say this truck is now paid for itself. I want to go over a little bit of things about this truck and why I chose to buy this, even though we've already done an S10 review. This one is different. This is the most recent generation of S10, the 2003s. It's got the suicide doors on it, even though they don't work. Some things that I've experienced in the last 6 months that have broken on this truck, and why I would advise anyone to buy one. Let's get started. Okay, so there's a few things that have gone wrong with the truck in the 6 months I've had it. Now, I know I wrecked it, but I did fix everything after it was wrecked. And these are problems that have spanned all the S10s that have really aggravated the hell out of me. For one, the door sag. So the door doesn't close all the way, and between the door and this gap, rain and wind and everything else gets through it. It needs another set of door pins after only 6 months. And it's not like I put the best quality ones on there. I just went with the Dorman kit you can get at the auto parts store. But the door just, I mean, it doesn't close right. And even if you try to, see how it has to like move up? Door pins are a problem. Part 2 that I want to complain about with the body is the suicide doors don't work. They have given out. Now when I got the truck, they worked. I had them working. Those stupid plastic clips that when you pull the handle, it's supposed to pull the latch up and open it, they keep going bad. I think they make an aluminum kit, but it is a problem. It's very annoying. So that is a negative. Talking about the interior, once we're inside the truck here, the seat is pretty comfortable, but every single S10 I've been in, except this one, has had an obliterated seat. The cushion is always like slanted towards the outside. It's destroyed. The dashboard is cracking. The interior, I can tell they cheaped out. Another part that does go into drivetrain with the interior is the e-brake. It doesn't work at all, like it's just a springboard now. So that's kind of problematic. The cup holders don't work at all. If you put a cup in it, it's going to spill all over the place. It does have a door cup holder, but I have rolly windows, so if you put a cup there and try to roll the window down, you'll hit it. Not really interior related, but the air conditioning has gone out for the second time. So there's a lot of creature comfort and body issues with these S10s. And I won't hate the truck, but it is annoying to constantly have to fix this stuff. I am glad these are still affordable, because if they weren't, if this truck was the same price as a Tacoma, like, look at this. You see this? If this truck was the same price as a Tacoma, it wouldn't sell. The body and the interior is clearly not where GM spent their money at all. Now, speaking of interior, as you can see from our last video, the airbag had deployed when I wrecked. I've replaced that with an airbag out of another 2003, and it seems to be good to go. So that's all taken care of. Let's talk about drivetrain, which is where this truck earns its keep. Okay, now this is where the truck really shines, and this is why you should buy one. The 4.3 liter V6 is impressive. It is actually not built for this small truck. The S10s originally came with the 2.2 and the 2.6 or 2.8 GM V6. Those were fine. I'm not complaining about those engines, but they shoehorned a full-size truck engine into here. I don't know how they do it. It barely fits, but this engine can pull a ton. As you can see from some of our footage here, this morning I just hauled off a huge trailer full of scrap metal, and this engine pulled it, did not even notice it was back there. And after we weighed on the scale on the way out, we had over 1,100 pounds of steel, another 300 pounds of aluminum, and a core engine in the bed of the truck this morning. All of that, this truck pulled it with no problem and still got 22 miles to the gallon doing it. So with all of that, that's why you should buy one of these. They're cheap, and you get a whole lot of capability with good gas mileage and cheap maintenance costs for a very low price point. And this truck is easy to drive. If you've got somebody who's up and coming learning to drive, this is an easy truck to learn to drive. If you need a third vehicle, because I recommend everyone have third vehicles. If one of your cars go down, you want something else to drive, this is a good third vehicle to have. Need to go pick up a washer and dryer? Now you can do it. Need to go pick up firewood? Now you can do it. You get so many options and choices and abilities for having a truck like this that you wouldn't get otherwise. And that's why I like them. Now, comparing them to their competitors like the Frontier, the Ranger, the Tacoma, those things, they're different animals. The Ranger and the Tacoma and the Frontier all cost more. The Dakota is a worse truck. So this really doesn't even hit the top 3, but it doesn't reflect that in its price point. You can pick one of these trucks up for less than $5,000 in 2022 crazy market prices. I found 4 of these that I'll try to put some links up there for you just for pictures of what they cost right now. Obviously those links will be long expired by the time you're watching this video, but the trucks are out there and they're affordable. And for their price point, these things really knock it out of the park. 4L60E automatic, you could get a stick. They're both good. The 4L60E goes into 350 V8s all day long. They have their problem, but with a V6, it doesn't really have enough torque to kill it. Rear end, I've only ever replaced one of them, and it's because the customer hit a wall so hard in a blizzard, they snapped the axle in half. So I've never seen one go out on its own. Not saying they don't, but I'm saying they're pretty tough. Overall, that's all we have to talk about as far as drivetrain. Now we just need to show you what kind of awesomeness this thing can do.
They say you are what you drive. What's that say about S10s? They pull their weight, have stability, good for the long haul, getting the toughest jobs done. Heartbeat of America, that's yesterday's Chevy truck.
In closing, there's a reason I fixed this truck. Even after I wrecked it, I put about $500 in parts, which you can see again from part 1, fixing and repairing the front end of this truck. Now, why did I do that? Well, this truck has more than paid for itself twice now. It paid for itself the first time after I fixed the head gasket issue or intake issue, and now it's paying for itself again after this body issue. Because of that, I don't understand why more people don't buy these old trucks for really cheap. It doesn't make sense to finance a new Chevy Colorado for 50, 60 grand in today's market when a $2,000 truck can do the exact same amount of work. Sure, the door's falling off. Sure, it has interior issues, but what is this for? This truck is for making you money. You will make more money out of this truck than you will out of a new truck because this one has low entry price point and low maintenance to keep it on the road. If you're buying a fleet or starting a landscape business, this is the way to go. This is the smarter decision. Cheaper on insurance, cheaper to buy, don't have any, real overhead. If somebody hits you in the back and you need a new bumper, you can go to any junkyard and find an S10 bumper. I have not found one that doesn't have one. You wreck a 2019 or 2022 Chevy Colorado tailgate, that's gonna be $1,000 because of the backup camera in it. This is $100. I don't understand why anyone's doing that. These are still around, people should buy these. This is the way to go, the smarter investment. Yes, you have to live with some creature uncomforts, but you can find a better edition of one of these trucks and you could fix those interior issues if you really wanted to. I just don't because I have 4 other trucks to drive and this one's just here to make me money, and that's what this truck does. It earns its keep. And that's why I think they should all be saved. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Grumpy Monkey Garage and continue to watch us. And that's the review on the Chevy S10/GMC Sonoma that we've affectionately called the Satenma. We'll see you next episode.